Yo, my people, welcome to Rants and Randomness. I'm Luvvie, and I'm your host and side-eye sorceress. Yo, you've been blowing up sharing the podcast on social for the last few weeks as we've been sharing some of the content we've done in other spaces, like Instagram Live and the Chat and Chill episode that was the one before this with Dr. Yaba Blay. Thank you so much for that. Please continue to share. If you know somebody who needs to listen to some of these episodes and somebody who will really find this information valuable, share it. Let your people know that rants is where to be. Anyway, so I got on live to talk about fear and imposter syndrome, and that really resonated with y'all. So on this episode, I'm bringing you the highlights from that because it was really helpful. So let's get into it. We got to talk about fear. It's been a big part of the last conversations I've been having. It's a big part of the book I just wrote. It is a big part of all of our lives. Fear is huge. So I'm like, let's get on and really talk about it. Last week, my girl, Badass Bozeman St. John, her and I jumped on live and we ended up talking about imposter syndrome. And the questions are still flowing. So I figured that, you know what, let's actually talk about it on this live and drill down on what we can do with it. Fear. Fear is being afraid. And all of us have it. It is a natural feeling. And oftentimes we hear people talk about being fearless. And I always say that I don't think fearlessness exists in the way we think about it. Fearlessness is really being afraid and choosing to do that thing anyway. My TED Talk talks about me constantly doing the things that scare me. And it is something that we all battle with every day of our lives. Something that we are afraid of will pop up. You know, whether physical or spiritual or emotional, it will pop up. And then we also talked about imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome, how I see it, is the idea that you are wearing a mask that doesn't belong to you or a coat that doesn't belong to you. You might not think you belong in a room. You might not think that the opportunities that you got make sense. You might wonder why you keep winning in spite of yourself, in spite of your fears. So imposter syndrome is a big piece of this because you are basically afraid that you are not worth whatever has been offered to you. And it's huge. So me and Bo's conversation was around the fact that imposter syndrome changes as you move up in your career. It doesn't go away. You don't just, even if you are the most confident person in the world, which Bo's is, that chick knows how to own a room. She knows she belongs in the room. I know I belong in the room. I know that I've earned a lot of things, but what happens with imposter syndrome is that it starts shifting, right? Imposter syndrome starts looking very different from what it was. So where before you might have thought, oh, imposter syndrome is me questioning why I'm in a room. It becomes you thinking you still have to kill yourself to do something. It means you don't ever think you will give enough of yourself. And it's something that we all have. Somebody says, do Nigerians have it? Do Nigerians breathe? Yes, it's a whole thing. And again, imposter syndrome does not look the same for everybody. For some, it looks like, oh, I can't believe I'm in this room. Do I really belong here? For others, it is, yes, I belong here, but while I'm here, I have to run myself ragged. And for some, it is self-sabotage, where you will get something good that will happen to you, and then you will do something to mess it up. That is also a form of imposter syndrome. Either way, it means that the thing that you have, you are not sitting comfortably and confidently in it in the way you should. You're not thinking it is for you and you don't need to do more to be deserving of it. It is the constant need to remind yourself that you are enough. So it's a big thing that we all deal with. If anybody says ain't got imposter syndrome, they're lying. Either they're lying or they don't really realize that imposter syndrome does not just look one way. So that is something that we will all contend with. We are all contending with in different ways. It just looks different. So there's some questions that y'all have already hit me up with that I'm going to answer. And then afterwards, if you have more time, we can ask. But I have stay to the end because we're going to really drill down. one of the questions that somebody asked was, how and when did you know you had a calling to change the world with your words? How did you not back down from your calling? Remember when I said imposter syndrome sometimes looks like self-sabotage, about questioning the gifts, about wondering whether you should do this thing that you're compelled to do? Yes, that's a part of that. So this question of how and when did you know you had a calling to change the world with your words? You know what? It took a long time for me to get there, because imposter syndrome, I was supposed to have recognized that I was a writer a long time ago, but I didn't call myself a writer until 9 years after I was blogging, 9 years after I'd already done this thing that I love to do. It was not clear to me that I was a writer because I kept denying it. So it took me a long time to realize that God was trying to tell me, sis, I put you on this world. I put you here to be this person, to use your words to make people feel joy, to think critically, to make them leave the world better than they found it. And again, it took a long time. It took me a while. I would say 2012 is the year that I started calling myself a writer. I have these years in my life that like transform me. And 2012 was the year that I called myself a writer for the first time, because before I would say, oh, I'm a blogger. I just write. I just do this thing. So 2012 is when I said, hey, you're in the room with some pretty epic people who have brighter pedigrees than you, who went to Ivy Leagues, who studied journalism. You are in a room with the people you watched on television, and the reason why you're there is because of your words. So that took a while. And the question of how did you not back down from your calling? It's less of how did I not back down from my calling and more of how was I convicted of my calling? How was I convicted and basically shamed into receiving and accepting this calling? Our calling, our purpose, the thing that feels too big, I don't think we end up not backing down. I feel like we get to a point, because we're all stubborn and because imposter syndrome and because of fear and whatever the thing is, we end up having to be forced into it somehow. Something massive usually happens. Some type of trigger happens. Some type of catalyst has to force us to finally be like, okay, no, I was bugging. I'm supposed to be doing this thing. But what about if we actually accept our calling before something traumatic or something like triggering happens? What if we accept it without God having to shake our whole body? Like, pay attention to me, you're not paying attention. What happens if we don't have to be shaken into our dreams? So I had to be shaken into it, literally, because stubborn. I thought I was going to be a doctor, then doctor didn't happen. And then I thought I was going to be a psychologist. And then I got my degree in psychology. I loved it. I just never went to grad school. And, yeah, so I ended up being shaken into it by losing my job in 2010. I got laid off my job. And had I not gotten laid off, I wasn't going to quit it. So imagine if I still insisted on being there, even though it wasn't where I was supposed to be. So we don't all have to be shaken into it. Kind of listen to what you're supposed to do. And it's not saying everybody's supposed to be a creative. It's not saying everybody's supposed to be a writer. It's not saying everybody's supposed to work for themselves. Sometimes your calling might be that you're working for somebody else, but you want to switch careers. Sometimes it is that, you need a promotion. You want a promotion, or you want to actually change positions, not upward, even laterally at the company you're in. So it always looks different. So for me, how did I not back down from my calling? I had no other choice but to accept my calling, because it kept on being in front of my face. It kept on convicting me. It kept on being like, I'm not going to leave you alone. So you can fight me or you won't. It's when I finally stopped fighting it that it worked well for me. Another question that I got: how do you protect your dream and ideas from being downplayed by others? Who should you share them with? Okay, here's the thing. How do you protect your dream and ideas from being downplayed by others? You don't. What others do, how others react to your dream is not your business. How others think your dream is ridiculous, not your business. What others think your dream is not good enough, or are you sure you want to do that? Or I don't know if you can do that. That's not your business. Don't internalize it. Others will have all the opinions about your dreams. all the opinions. It does not matter. Whose dream is it? Are you the one going to sleep thinking about this? Well, then your dream is going to convict you, not them. So whatever their opinion is about your dream, doesn't matter. They can keep it to themselves. Even if they don't keep it to themselves, it is not your job to now take it on and internalize it and say, okay, I should dead the dream. Most dreams are dreams because they don't exist yet, right? So something that doesn't exist yet, somebody else is going to have a hard time picturing it for you. As long as you can picture it, as long as you know that you know what you want, that's all you need, right? So I don't want you to think that others are somehow owed your dream. You can share it, absolutely. And when you share it, how they respond to it is not your business. So if you are clear about what you want, do that thing. You don't have to make decisions by counsel. Honestly, the thing that I wanted to do the most in the moments that I wanted to do them, I usually because I did not ask for somebody else's opinion on them. I moved quick because I was sure. A lot of the things that we want to do, we already know we want to do them. We don't need the committee to tell us you have to do it. We don't need the permission to do it. So based on your dream, whatever it is that you want to do, you don't need a committee to be like, yes, we put our stamp on it. If you have a committee to put their stamp on it, that's amazing. But you don't need it. You don't need nobody's permission for it. Who should you share them with? Ooh, that's good. So I am a fan of sharing your dream out loud, even to yourself. Say your dream out loud. I want you to be able to verbalize it and say, hey, I want this thing. It don't matter how big it feels. It don't matter how daunting it is. It doesn't matter how far-fetched it might seem. Say it out loud to yourself first. Then after you say it to yourself, who are the people who add gas to your dream, to the fire that you have? Who do you know is not a Debbie Downer in your life? Who are the people that you are like, whenever I call them, they give me positive energy? Tell that person, one or two of those people, yo, I have this dream. If there's somebody who you work with, who you already know is not going to come with all types of random envy and jealousy, maybe tell them. I tell my friends who I trust the most my dreams, my friends who are in the same kind of understanding as me, the ones who I know if what I'm saying doesn't make sense, they will also kind of ask me questions. But I go to the friends who I know will ask me the right questions, who will then say, I got you, whatever decision you make. You don't need the person who's like, if you do it, I'm not with it. No. You talk to the person who you know supports you, questions you, gets you together when you need, and all of that good stuff. Everybody is not deserving of your dream. Now, the other part of that is we are used to hoarding our dreams to ourselves. What does that mean? We are afraid we want to protect the dream by thinking that we are protecting it by holding it just to us. That if we say it out loud, somebody's going to steal the idea. Somebody's going to steal the dream. If it is a dream of yours, nobody can steal it. I don't care if somebody else creates the same product that you were going to create. They did not steal your dream because your dream is for yours alone. So two of us can do the same things. Two of us can have the same career. But my dream is my dream because I saw it in the way I saw it. It will unfold in the way it's supposed to unfold for me. Somebody else having the same dream does not matter. It doesn't matter. They're not going to steal the dream. We're always afraid of somebody stealing our idea, which, yeah, okay. Oh, I have this company idea. And then somebody runs and hears it and does it before you. Well, you can't trademark ideas. The U.S. Patent Office does not let you trademark ideas because they say if it does not exist, there's nothing for them to trademark. So if what you have right now is an idea, you're like, I'm trying to protect it. Okay, but you tell somebody and they run and they do the same idea. Will they do it in the way you will do it? And if they also happen to do it before you did, why did you drag your feet on it? I think you should tell your dream out loud. Unless it's some type of like patented idea that's like, physics, maybe don't tell somebody about the theory of relativity that you just came up with until you patent that. But regular ideas, a business, You can't patent that. You can't copyright that. You can't trademark it until it's executed. You can't do nothing with it. So we use the idea of, oh, I'm keeping my dream to myself, really as a procrastination tool. When I tell my friends my ideas, they will hold me accountable to it. They will say, hey, remember that conversation we had 2 months ago? Why haven't you done that? And I'm like, damn, you right. It is a form of me being held accountable when I tell my friends and people I trust my ideas. It is a way for you to know that you have somebody that's going to keep you in track, right? It is a way to make sure that you are not using your own brain space as a portal for dusty ideas that never come to life. Everybody always thinks their idea is so good that they never tell anybody about it. I'm like, if my idea is so good, I want to at least tell people about it so they can affirm that it's good. And then if somebody else tries to do the idea, even before me, okay, it's still not going to work the same way because I'm the one who had this idea in the way I had it. There's nothing new under the sun. Do not be so egotistical to think your idea is so brilliant that nobody in the world has thought about it. People have thought about it. Like, people have thought about it. So, listen, everybody's idea is not the theory of relativity. It is not one of those, oh my God, nobody has ever seen this before. No, the first people to execute for a reason. And also, the first is not always the best. So even if you were the second, execute it better than them. That's what matters. Another question that somebody has. How do you stay inspired when imposter syndrome gets in the way? What gave you that drive to press on? So I am big on community. Again, you've heard me say that I have the people who I love hold me accountable. I have them keep track of my dreams for me sometimes. We will talk and have random conversations and start brainstorming. And, and next thing I know, I've had a full-fledged idea from just having this conversation with my friend. Community is major. Community is huge. And it keeps imposter syndrome in check because even in the moments when you are afraid of whatever the thing is, you're afraid to be in the room. You're afraid to do this thing. You're afraid to ask for the raise. Your friends and the people you have in community, the people, whether they're coworkers, whether they are friends, whether they're family, whether they're just, random church group, those people will loan you power in the moments when you don't have power for yourself. Those people are the ones who will remind you, like, listen, you got this. I know right now you don't believe it. You got this. And even I still have that. I still need my people to affirm me when I have these big ideas, when I'm just moving through the world and I'm just like, so I want to do this thing and it's kind of scaring me because it feels big. Do you think it's a good idea? And they'll be like, do it. In fact, if you don't do it, I will lambast you. And I'm like, you right. They will shame me into going after my dreams because when you have the right community to do that, the right people around you, you will feel bulked up and know that I have to do good things. It's not because you're in competition with them. It's because you're like, I need to make sure that I'm also showing up in the way I need to because I'm part of that community. So I'll even give you an example. When I was offered my TED Talk, the TED Talk that has now gone viral, 5 million views, shout out, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. That talk, I turned it down 2 times. 2 times. I turned down my TED Talk that is now viral twice because I was afraid that I wasn't ready for it. Because the year that I was offered to do the TED Talk, I had 30 other speaking engagements. And I know how labor intensive TED Talks can be. I know that they make you have a coach. They make you practice. And I was like, I don't have time for that in this year. I literally had 20 speaking engagements after the TED Talk, all of that stuff. So I was like, no, I'm good. You know what? Because I don't want to get up there and be shabby and raggedy. So I turned it down. Then they came to me again and they were like, hey, you can just come on a panel and come speak at TED. And I was like, I already booked another gig at that same time. And you know what? It's cool. I can't. 3 weeks before TED, I was like, turns out I can actually make it for the day. I'm going to come cheer my friends on. I ain't want nothing else but to come cheer my friends on at TED. And when I told Pat Mitchell, who curated TED Women, she was like, you can come? I want you to speak. I said, Pat, it's 3 weeks before. Everybody else has been practicing their speech for 4 months. They've had a coach. They know their talk backwards and forwards by now. They done practiced it 15 times. I said, Pat, what are you talking about? I can't just give a TED talk 3 weeks before. I got to come up with a whole new freaking talk, and I still got different things happening. I was like, oh, I can't. And I was about to send Pat Mitchell an email declining it for the third time. I was about to. I had the email already written out, and then I called my friend Unique Jones Gibson. If y'all don't know Unique is the visionary behind Because of Them We Can. She just dropped her new game called Culture Tags, which you should get. It's incredible. So I just call Unique because me and Unique act like we're each other's co-workers. So we'd be calling each other random ideas, random check-ins. So I called, it was a Sunday night, and I said, Unique, they want me to do this TED Talk. And I was like, this is wild because it's 3 weeks away. I got to come up with a new talk. Everybody else has had a coach. Everybody else has been prepped. People been at this for months, making sure they know their TED Talk front and back. Unique said, Luvvie, you're not everybody. Everybody ain't you. I said, she was like, everybody's not you. You've been on stages for the last 9 years. That's been your coaching. You're on a current talk, speaking tour. That's your coaching. She's like, how many talks do you give while you just out here in these streets? That's your coaching. Everybody ain't you. I want you to get off my phone and go write your talk. Chat. And she hung up on me. After she read me for my life, she hung up on me. She was like, get off my phone and go write this talk. Bye. Chat. I hung up. I said, well, damn, let me delete this email that I was going to send out. And I deleted the email to Pat Mitchell. And a whole bunch of other things happened in between, but it was basically like I was supposed to give this talk. I gave the talk. There's a blog post that I wrote about this too. I gave the talk. A week later, the TED people came and were like, we want to feature this on December 1st. I gave this talk November 1st. They end up featuring it on TED.com. Mind you, TED doesn't ever guarantee that they will post what you're saying. They never guarantee that you will see your TED Talk publicly, ever. Because it's just up to them. At the end of it all, they'll be like, we don't like it. Shelve it. There's nothing to do here. My talk, they decided to post a month after I gave it. Some talks didn't come out for 9 months. But mine came out 4 weeks after I gave it. And I think about that conversation that I had with Unique. She's literally the reason why I deleted the email that declined the TED Talk for the third time. That TED Talk ends up changing my life in major ways. And I think about the power of community that is affirming, the power of community that serves to be a mirror of you, but also that serves to challenge you. Community that does not let you not recognize your power. You want to be surrounded by people who will not let you not recognize your power. And when you don't recognize your power, they will loan you power. They'll say, I know right now you don't feel like you're powerful. Let me give you some of mine, because power is limitless. Power is limitless. You don't run out of power. Okay. Because whatever power I use today, I'll replenish when I go to sleep. I don't lose. There's no bottom to the power. There's no limits to the power that we have. So you have to make sure that the community that you have surrounds you in this way. Because if it is true that you are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with, take a minute and think, who are those 5 people for you? Do you think you have 5 people in your life who are your faith keepers? I saw somebody use that. Who will loan you their power? Do you have 5 people in your life? 5, not just 1. Do you have 5 in your life of people who help you fight fear? It's important. It is important. And I always talk about, like, y'all know I be transparent with you. I share my story. I share my lessons. Right now, I am being called to share a lot of my lessons, especially around this fear, around how my life has truly changed when I think about just really standing in and insisting in doing the things that scare me over and over again. So I actually have a surprise for y'all. My inbox has been blowing up with questions about fighting fear and imposter syndrome. And many of you have asked me to teach a class. So that's actually exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm excited because on Thursday, at 6 p.m. Central Time, I am teaching an entire class on how to fight fear and imposter syndrome. So if you've been struggling with fear that you're not talented, you're not unique, you're not remarkable enough to succeed, fear that you'll work incredibly hard, but your big dreams still won't come true, fear of not getting it right, of not doing it perfectly, it is important that we talk about this, okay? That we really drill down. I'm going to share my advice on how to feel the fear and do it anyway, how to speak up, how to write your book anyway, how to be an artist anyway, how to run for mayor, how to take over the world, how to do whatever you want to do. Like, it is important. So Thursday, I am teaching this class, and I want you to walk away from the class because I want you to feel courage, right? I'm going to share my power with you. I want you to feel like you just put on the best shea butter on your skin because you know that's one of my core values. Okay, being moisturized is one of my core values. So Thursday, August 20th. So how do you sign up? Go to fearfighterclass.com. Fearfighterclass.com. It's a free class. I want you to join me because I want us to drill down on how we're going to do this. Because here's the thing. When you decide that I'm not going to be afraid at all, or I am going to be afraid. Actually, more importantly, I am going to be afraid, but I'm still going to do it anyway. I'm telling you, it's going to change your life because I am a testimony of that. Literally, I am here talking to y'all today and having all these things and writing the books because I've insisted on doing what scares me, and I've insisted on doing it in a way that's really intentional. So sign up for it at fearfighterclass.com. fearfighterclass.com. I want you to sign up for it. I want you to bring a notebook. Y'all gonna bring a notebook? Bring a notebook, okay? Bring a pen. Bring some water, okay? Put some castor oil on your edges in case I drag them. It's with love, all right? And let's drill down this topic. Let's really talk about how I've done it. And I have something for you to hold you accountable. I want to hold you accountable to living the life that's as bold as possible. Because whenever y'all DM me and you're like, how do you do this thing? I'm always like, okay, I see a thread here. I see a pattern here, and I know exactly how you feel. I know exactly how you feel. And it's not your fault that you feel that way, but it's your responsibility to now address. So the one thing I am being called to do right now is to help you address this, because that's where I've been. And if it wasn't for the intentional steps that I took, I'd still be doing things like being afraid of being a writer. I would still be afraid of commitment because I got married in the last year, because that was also a thing. That's a thing too. Okay. Yeah. So I want to pass that on to you, let you know the things that I've done. It's going to be a really good class. Mark your calendars, fearfighterclass.com. Send the link to somebody that you think will be, blessed by this class. Pass this link on. Let people know that you have registered for Fear Fighter class. Come in there and let's do really good work. Now, here's a little piece that I must let y'all know. I'm only letting 1,000 people in the class, as in only 1,000 people going to be able to actually log in. So log in earlier than everybody else. I'm just saying, because after 1,000, it's being cut off. So, but sign up. So yeah, make sure you are in the building. Mark your calendars. Pass this on to your friends who you know this is helpful for. But yeah, this is fun. And I hope this was helpful. It's going to be even better than what y'all just heard. Thank you for listening. And if you want to see the full video, we'll link it in the show notes at awesomelyluvvie.com. You can always also go there for a transcript of every episode, so you can share it with anybody who has accessibility issues or are hard of hearing. And if you haven't signed up already, go to fearfighterclass.com right now and register. Like I said, we can only get a few people in there, and we've already had 3 times the amount of people sign up. So you gotta get into it so you can get the replay right away, even if you can't jump in. So fearfighterclass.com. Much love to Chicago Recording Company, where I currently don't record this podcast, but there's such a huge help putting my recordings from home together and making the sound on point. And And subscribe to Rants and Randomness all over, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, wherever you prefer to get it. If you want to follow the podcast on social, we are at Rants Randomness on Twitter and at Rants and Randomness on Instagram. As always, follow me on social media. I am at Luvvie everywhere. See y'all in the next episode.